Things getting a little wild, bro. Are we going to war with in Mexico with the cartel? It's looking crazy. I just saw a clip right before I went live of the Mexican Congress or whatever approving two teams of Navy SEALs going over and like they're declaring themselves incompetent due to the cartel or something. I don't know because it's in Spanish. But we'll catch up with that. That shit's getting interesting. And they're fighting like cats and dogs, dude. It's wild today in Congress. It's kind of pathetic because underneath all of the bullshit, I don't think there's any real concern to actually bring about justice, to actually prosecute the people responsible, along with Jeffrey Epstein of sex trafficking. It seems like at this point it's just a political football they're trying to toss back and forth. It's just like the Democrats just so badly want to pin something on Trump. And that's it. That's really all they care about. Can we pin something on Trump? And but yeah, we got that. We got a lot of clips, man. They got heated today, bro. They got heated. And it's not really a good look for Bondi, in my opinion. Not a fan of Bondi. I would just say just fire her. I mean, I know it would be a big problem because now you got to find her replacement and that's going to be a big quagmire. But I don't know, man. She's just not, she doesn't seem like she's the right woman for the job. And maybe next time we should maybe, try a man, see how they do. Let's mix it up. I can translate. I'm not Mexican. I just employ a bunch. Legal, of course. Okay, well, that's great, Jim Burkett. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, we'll see. I think I bookmarked that clip. We'll watch that. That's going to be after we get to the Bondi stuff. Hope everybody's doing good, man. Hope y'all are doing fantastic out there. Welcome to the Pink Trip Show. I'm glad you're here. Let's get to this Pam Bondi stuff. There's so many clips, man, and it really got heated. I was trying to watch as much of it to like wrap my head around it earlier, and it's insane. So yeah, let's watch this. Let's have some fun. Links are in the description if you want to support the show. If you want to hit the thumbs up, that's very much appreciated. And yeah, super chats as well if you want to join the conversation. Much love, everybody. Let's go. We got a bunch of these Bondi clips. We're going to be here for a while.
Is recognized.
May I respond very briefly to her statement?
Well, I think we can do that probably on one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you.
Just to be a little fair, how long did they have to go through 3 million documents and figure out who needed to be redacted and who didn't? Like, obviously the mistakes were made, but yeah, so I didn't even know about this one. So I guess this is all the victim names they forgot to redact. I don't know.
That was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, Fully Redacted. And
That's
by the
fucked.
way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release.
I'll be honest, Crumpulus says at this point, I don't give a fuck if victims are exposed. The world needs to know what the fuck is happening with their world leaders. Especially when it seems like some of the victims are also perpetrators. It seems like that's the case for some of them. I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of in that mindset as well, Crumpulous. Like, I don't care. Listen, we just need to know. Okay? We just need to know everything at this point. And yeah, that is kind of, I mean, it's very suspicious. Like, you're going to unredact all the victim names, but then the perpetrators, those are redacted. What the fuck are you doing? Sure seems like there's still a cover-up going on here.
These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
This is such a fucking stupid thing. Well, his name's listed in other places, so it's like, yeah, but you redacted it like in the most important place, the most damning place, as if you were covering up for him. I'll be honest, dude. After watching a lot of these clips, I didn't think I could dislike Bondi any more than I already did. And it's very frustrating because it's like, dude, just like a question like this, just answer the fucking question. Why was his name redacted? Why was his name redacted there? Who's responsible? Do you even have any clue as to what's going on? Are you paying attention? She seems fucking clueless, to be honest. She seems like a clueless, dumb, blonde bimbo who should have never been in this position.
My answer. Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
But you did cover it up. We acted like you did.
Jim Burkett 9799 super chatted $19.99. Got nothing clever to say. Just showing you some love. Ping. Massey for president.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate the love. 20 is very generous. Yeah, I like Massey. I don't know if he can win, but maybe he can. I mean, who knows? Credit to Massey. He seems to be one of the few people who's actually not just playing politics with this and just like, oh, I just want to take down my political enemies and use this to take down my... He actually seems like he wants some sort of justice and like transparency. So credit to Massey.
Claiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
You're claiming my time.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Hope you're doing good, buddy.
Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from Kentucky.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So
Yes.
I'm going to put the language.
Yeah, she does sound like a whining kid. I mean, it's hard to listen to, dude. It's pathetic, It's like, I don't know. She doesn't command any respect. She just sounds like a whiny bitch. Just got home drunk from the bar and you're like, babe, why are all these photos with you with dudes and like you got your arms around them and stuff? And she's like, that's like the feeling I get when I hear her talk.
Of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that?
Here's
a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Red-handed. There was one redaction out of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
And we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician. You need to get on
you to watch the video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you?
I don't know why I found that funny. Like, you're a victim. You're a victim. You were sex trafficked by Epstein. Oh, here's a number: 1-800-FBI. It's like, okay. It sounds kind of like you're being blown off.
You talk about Epstein.
I am reclaiming my time.
Call this 1-800 number where you can talk to a robotic voice and leave a voicemail.
I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden.
Yeah, she's
Spocko2181 super chatted $1.99. She is beyond stupid.
I mean,
pathetic.
There's no dignity. The way she's acting, it's just pathetic. She would be better to just shut up and be like, try to answer the questions to the best of her ability and explain, why somebody wasn't somebody was redacted when they appear to be a conspirator. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I mean, it would have been better if she would have just shut the fuck up and pled the fifth. At least she would have, maintained some dignity. She just sounds like a whiny little brat, dude.
Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know, at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them.
Okay, this is stupid. You're changing the subject. You're like, oh, you have TDS. That's not what we're talking about here. It's a pretty obvious tactic to see through.
Hypocrite.
The
People voted against it, and you were one of them. Hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired. She didn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering.
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right. This is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and identifiable pictures of the victim.
At Burbshead super chatted $1.40. Can't decide if they're lazy or just full of shush 1T.
I would say probably both of them. Really, like, this is the best of all the questioning of Bondi. After this, it just becomes, how can we pin something on Trump? That's every Democrat question is just like Trump. The Democrats have no, I mean, look, the Democrats, if they were in power, we wouldn't be getting anything. Yes, Trump fucked it up. Trump called it a hoax. But we still got 3 million fucking files. We got something. If Democrats were in power, we would have got nothing, and they would have just never said anything. They would have been like, oh, that's just an anti-Semitic fucking hoax, It's a right-wing conspiracy that's anti-Semitic in nature. So, I mean, at least we're getting something, but it's very clear. I think Massey's probably the only one here. Maybe there's a couple other who are actually interested in some form of justice for the actual fucking victims, as opposed to just like playing political games and trying to pin it on your political rivals.
Victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files.
Chairman, are we going to recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of
time for recess, Bondi. Gonna go pull your pigtails.
17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
So yeah, that was the Massey confrontation. No, no, like I am liking Massey. You know, I was a little like I don't know Massey that well, but he's growing on me. He is growing on me. Here's Goldman has explosive fight with Bondi as he brings out email from Epstein to Maxwell.
Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review some of the unredacted materials. And I am looking forward to your detailed explanation for why you have withheld almost half of the documents, which is required by the bill. Now, obviously, there are 3 million documents, so I didn't get through much. But one thing I didn't see was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York and a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress. So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those 2 documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
Okay. They're not privileged, but we will discuss.
Privileged in the sense that it's attorney-client communications? Is that what she's saying? Let me watch this again. Because this is confusing.
Commit was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York and a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress. So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those 2 documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
Okay. They're not privileged, but we will.
I need a lawyer in here to explain this because how is it
discuss
privileged?
that later. I also found an email that I have right here from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell that was unredacted. And it included notes of statements that Donald Trump made about his prior relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there is no reason for this to be hidden from the American people. There is no privilege, there is no attorney-client privilege, and I see you're checking with your staff, and I can assure you, staff, this is not under attorney-client privilege because it was sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. Will you commit to publicly providing the unredacted version of this so that the American people can understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, this is great. This email that you redact, if only you unredact this email, then we would know that Trump is absolutely guilty, but it's blocked behind it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll get him this time, guys.
Not as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
So will you unredact this? Will you unredact this?
You were lead counsel on that privilege.
I'm asking you, will you unredact?
Is it white privilege? Will you unredact it? White privilege.
This.
Privileged.
Privileged, of course. I look forward to discussing.
I mean, how hard is it to say, I'm going to meet with my team and we're going to discuss and we're going to look deeper into this. And if we did make a mistake, we will unredact it. Instead, she just talks about 2016 and just sounds like she's fucking dodging the question.
This more. Now, these are obviously improper redactions.
And let me stop for a minute.
I'm talking.
If they're not privileged,
quiet.
Don't yell at me. If they're not
Mr. Chairman, would you stop the clock? This is on your time. It's not on Mr.
If
Goldman.
they're not
privileged, you used your improper redactions.
You'll like my answer.
To continue to protect
time belongs to the member.
We'll be happy to.
Okay, that should have been the answer right off the bat. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. We will review that if mistakes were made, like we did last time with Les Wexner. We will unredact it quickly if if you're correct. You know, I mean, that should have been the answer from the bat.
We'll stop the clock.
I mean, she's a fucking lawyer too. Like, she should be able to play this game. This is one of the things, like, Republicans suck at playing this political game that Democrats are so fucking good at. Like, Democrats are just so Machiavellian, and Republicans are just like, oh, 2016, don't you apologize for. Come on, man.
We'll stop the clock. Time belongs to the member. Go ahead.
Even though you used improper redactions to protect Donald Trump and other predators associated with Jeffrey Epstein, you did the exact opposite thing with the survivors and victims of this scheme. So their identification information was really the only thing required to be redacted, and it was not. And it's clear this was not a mistake. This was not by accident. This was not because you only had 30 days when you really used 75, and that doesn't even include all the hours last March that you were redacting it.
Bro, you have to understand that is a monumental task to go through 3 million documents within 30 days. And I think like he said, they extended it to 75 days. And to go over and figure out what needs to be redacted and what doesn't. And clearly, like, they had to rush it and made a bunch of fucking mistakes, clearly.
But I'll tell you.
I'm for removing all redactions. I don't give a fuck. Remove them all.
Why it's clear it wasn't a mistake. There is an email entitled Epstein Victim List. There are 32 names. 1 is redacted. 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you, that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors and victims. Now, in an interview last week...
How will you tell me that's intentional?
In an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche...
You can't go off script.
...said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, would the survivors and victims who are here please stand up one more time? Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones
also helped traffic women to Epstein? Yes, we get it. At one point you were a victim, but how many of you helped also traffic other women into the Epstein network? Raise your hands. That's what I want to know. I'm suspicious of these victims, dude.
Actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and estimate and evidence? None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence? All of them.
Okay, that's pretty fucked up. That on the surface looks pretty fucked up. So you're telling me all these victims, witnesses, et cetera, have tried to reach out to give their story to the FBI, and then the FBI is just ignoring them? If that's true, that's pretty damning to me.
And of those of you, all of you, who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice? All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Ms. Bondi, it looks like...
Okay, well, they should be speaking to the Department of Justice immediately. Like, what the fuck is going on? How does that work where you have all these victims that have a story to tell and are trying to reach out to tell it, and they're just going, oh, they're just ignoring them? If that's the case, like, that's, again, more evidence of there's a cover-up going on here.
You have some more witnesses
Gentleman's time has expired.
And I yield back.
We will go to the good gentleman from North Carolina, Congressman Knott. Thank you.
May I have a moment, Congressman?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Here we go. Here's the photograph. This is why he wanted to repeat everything that had been said previously on Epstein. This is his state, New York. You probably don't even know who this is. Wahid Mohammed from Afghanistan.
Yes, because I'm no...
So this is what she spent all her time preparing for? She knew she was going to a congressional hearing where they were going to drill her on the Epstein files release. And she spent her time printing up pictures of illegal aliens who committed crimes in the districts of the people who are questioning her. Like, maybe you should have spent more time, like, actually defending yourself and coming up with what's actually going on and why these mistakes were made and how you're going to improve things. This is so fucking lame. This is just political bullshit. Like, I expect this shit from Democrats, but it's just lame coming from Republicans. And is she right? Are they fucking dropping the ball and letting illegal aliens like commit crimes and get released the next? Yes, that's true, but that's not what we're fucking talking about here, bro. Bondi? Fuck. Redact this cock, Bondi. How about that?
No longer a prosecutor.
I've been wanting to say that for like the last 10 minutes. Redact this cock, bitch.
Convicted of assault. Wow. He represents New York. Wow. Yet he doesn't care about the illegal
all politics.
Aliens convicted of crimes. Assault and homicide. No longer a prosecutor, so he doesn't care about his constituents. Here we go. Arson. El Salvador. Miguel Palacios.
Yeah, that's not what we're here to talk about, Bondi. We're here to talk about the Epstein files. Maybe she'll just say Trump derangement syndrome again. Try to win some political points.
See?
Ms. Crockett from Texas is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today.
See, and then the Democrats, instead of like actually trying to get to the bottom of things and figure out how we can move forward to like actually prosecute these people involved with Epstein. Oh, Trump. It's all, that shit gets annoying because it's like, dude, okay, we see through it. We see what you're doing.
It says 40% of people approve of
You don't
Trump's
need to
handling
read
of
the article
immigration
to us.
and
He's in
border
the file
security,
like
while
30,000
60%
times.
disapprove.
Without
That
objection,
is a net
admitted.
drop
Now I
to
recognize the
negative
gentleman
20.
from California, Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in this video, this photo, but it just doesn't look good, bro. What are you doing? And I don't know if this person looks old, to be honest, that's on the ground from the hands. And then they redact the image. They're like, oh, this is a victim. I mean, who the fuck knows, dude? But it's not a good look.
You redacted the photos of this victim's face
Prince Andrew, bro.
because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face.
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face
we want to keep staring
are
at
evidence
this.
of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew.
Okay, first of all, we got to know who this is, okay? Right? Because they're blackbarring fucking people that aren't victims. That we know of. Okay, so we got to know who this actually is. Are they alive? What's their story? Do they remember this? Were they a victim of Epstein? Like, when they redact things, it allows like just narratives to be built around things just because we don't have the full picture.
So I ask you, Attorney General Pam.
By the way, I mean, we know this guy's a creep anyway, but I mean, is he that dumb? He's going to take a picture with, I mean, then look at the hand. The hands don't look like that of a kid. This is definitely an older woman. I don't know.
Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was.
No, how about you answer the fucking question and give us some info as to what that picture is, what you know about the picture, what your investigations into that picture showed. Why don't you, I mean, fuck's sake, Bondi.
As Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I answer
question.
your question about protecting?
So it looks bad because here's your opportunity to, everybody's wondering about this photo. What have you have you even investigated the photo to find out who it is and if they're a victim and if they have a story and maybe they could be corroborated and then charges could be It sounds like you haven't even looked into it. Because you're just dodging, which makes it look even more guilty, makes it look like you're covering shit up.
Answer the question.
And you're probably just a fucking retard who's like barely doing their job.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another.
She's definitely incompetent and doesn't belong in this position. It was a bad choice by Trump, in my opinion.
Man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video.
I mean, it's all about. Let's watch this video for the millionth time. I bet you Trump hates that this video exists because it's so fucking cringy. I mean, here you are dancing like a creep with the world's biggest creep. Ah, such a bad look. But again, does it prove that he did some shit? No, it doesn't. That's the problem. Like, they want to say that Trump is definitely guilty. Why are you protecting Trump? Show me the evidence, dude. Show me the proof of that Trump's guilty. Because it's not there. It's just hearsay.
Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, that's too long of a pause. You can't do that long of a pause and go, you can't. Now you look like you're fucking covering shit up, Bondi. Bondi, you're a lawyer, right? Like, you could still be shitty at your job and do a terrible job, but you should still have the skills of being a lawyer and not looking guilty when you answer questions. This is fucking pathetic, bro. Watch this again. This kind of, it just looks bad.
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime.
You should have said that right off the bat. As soon as it was your floor, you should have said, there is no evidence. Instead, you went, she is so bad, dude. She's so fucking retarded. She does not belong here.
Everyone knows that. This has been
And this is Trump's always, like, his weakness is, like, he hires the biggest retards, bro. I swear to God, dude. Get a janitor from off the street. They'd be better than this retard.
Most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm reclaiming my time.
He's the one.
I got your answer. You said.
He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm reclaiming my time. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock. Stop the clock.
The legislation. This is
Time
ridiculous.
belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape.
Where's the fucking evidence, please? Okay? Him being listed, named in the files, that's not evidence. Are just accusations from fucking random public tip lines? Is that evidence? So, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm miss me with that evidence shit. Show me the real evidence, please. Because I'm ready to be done with Trump. I'm ready. Show me the fucking evidence, okay? Stop playing games. There's evidence. Okay, well, show it right now. Show me the indisputable evidence that he did something, please.
Said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called...
Yeah, an accusation from a tip line. An accusation from a fucking tip line, dude. You know why police don't like using public tip lines? Because it's just they get filled up with bullshit, right? Like out of like 300 million people in this country, maybe two people have were eyewitnesses or have some evidence to come forward. But yet you'll get thousands upon thousands of crazy people just writing you crazy shit that you have to go through to maybe find the one or two people out of the entire country that may have witnessed something and have something to come forward with. But yeah, that's our evidence now. Just random accusations, dude.
Into the FBI's threat.
And they're not even believable on the surface. They sound like just made up bullshit. Like this one. This is the limo driver one, right? Where, I was so mad I was going to get out of my car and beat him up. It sounds like somebody, like it's a Democrat fantasy, to be honest.
Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's believable. He just drove down, and Donald Trump was talking about, I was fucking little girls on his phone, and I heard it, and I knew he was talking to Epstein. And then, come on, dude. And I mean, they probably tried. I don't know. I know a lot of them they tried to follow up with were just not credible. They didn't even respond to the follow-ups. Other people were proven to be fucking nuts. But I don't remember what the outcome of the follow-up on this one was.
And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. Thank you, Jabroni Cast. Literally right before the 2020 election, too, when Trump derangement syndrome was at its highest. And then the FBI's like, here's a public tip line to call in about Epstein. And all these Trump deranged people fucking are just going to make up shit about Trump. That's just to be expected, dude. But people are too stupid to see that. And yeah, I mean, is there a possible tip that is real that Trump did some bad shit? It's possible in the sea of bullshit. Okay.
She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice.
Yeah, I explained it better than her, Nero, because I'm not a fucking retard, and I could do her job 100 times better than her without a law degree. Okay, Nero? And this is the sad reality of this world, is our political class, I guarantee you take some blue-collar worker off the street, and they'll do a better fucking job than these retards.
This interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
Bro, you're saying I'm not as pretty as Bondi? Bondi's got a fucking Klingon nose, okay? I'm very pretty.
Woman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question,
He doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk about
I did not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a question.
crime in his state.
She can't just ad lib stuff. I did not ask a question.
Another strategy that's very clear is like they can basically take their 5 minutes of time, not really ask a question, just insinuate a bunch of shit, and then the moment any words come out of her mouth, I reclaim my time, and they're like, they don't really actually want her to respond. That's a pretty obvious strategy they're all using there. Bondi has explosive confrontation with Joe Negus. Old Negus. Who's Negus?
If you come for law enforcement, the Trump administration will come for you. End quote. I want to show you just a brief video. It's about 30 seconds, and I'll ask you a couple questions about it.
You guys are disgusting, man. Hey, you guys are disgusting. I'm former law enforcement.
Oh, so now we're talking about January 6th? I thought we were talking about the Epstein files. Now we're going to talk about January 6th again? Okay.
You're disgusting. You are the Nazi. You are the Gestapo. You can't see it. Because you're chasing your pension, right? Your pension. Your retirement, right? That's what runs your life, your retirement. The sad thing is they're not even going to get their pension because it's going to be worthless. And shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah.
I think he said kill them at the end.
Attorney General Bondi, that man works for you now, right?
Who was that, Congressman?
The man in that video the one who is in the police-worn body cam footage, the one allegedly yelling "kill him" at police officers on January 6th. His name is Jared Wise.
He does work for us.
He works for you.
Why would you? Look, why would you hire that guy? You're telling me you did the background check and you saw that and you were like, oh, that's fine. I mean, I don't really care that much, but you know it's going to be weaponized against you. There were no other candidates. There was no other options other than that guy. I don't know.
The Department of Justice.
He does.
This is an individual whom a federal grand jury indicted for 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors related to his participation in the attack on January 6th. One of those charges was forcibly assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, and interfering with police with the intent to commit another felony. This is who you choose as the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America to hire at the Department of Justice. Someone on video yelling "kill him" at police officers, right?
I believe he was pardoned by President Trump.
Oh, he was pardoned. You're right. You're right. Pardoned by President Trump for his offense. Pardoned for...
Is it just me or does this guy seem so fucking nervous right now? Like he's rehearsed this speech, he knows the speech, he's delivering it, but like he doesn't seem, he seems like stressed out.
Yelling "kill him" at police officers. And yet you
I don't know, that's just me. I get that impression.
Expect hardworking police officers across the country to believe that you take law enforcement seriously. You could imagine the reaction of so many folks across the country hearing the chief law enforcement officer of the United States refuse to even condemn what that individual whom you've now hired did. But in any event, let's talk a little bit about some of the other divisions within the Department of Justice and what's happened over the last year. You're familiar with the Public Integrity section of the DOJ's criminal division. I think it's referred to as PIN. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know which presidential administration under which the PIN was first created?
I can tell you what administration that the weaponization was ended under.
I'll reclaim my time. This wasn't a trick question.
You don't get to
Madam Attorney
reclaim
General.
your time.
Madam Attorney General.
Because I don't like
Mr. Chairman,
I don't
will you
answer.
See, that's a definite strategy. That's just like they don't want her to actually answer. They want to pretend like they're going to let her answer, and then they just want to like continue talking over her.
I can tell you what administration that the weaponization was ended under.
I'll reclaim my time. This wasn't a trick question.
You don't get to
Madam Attorney
reclaim
General.
your time.
Madam Attorney General.
Because I don't like.
Mr. Chairman, will you explain to the witness that he does reclaim his time?
Because I don't answer a question to your satisfaction.
Mr. Chairman.
Madam Attorney General, the time belongs to the gentleman from Colorado.
The president under which PIN was created was Gerald Ford. It was created after Watergate.
Exactly.
I'm not asking a question, Madam Attorney General. The administration under which it was created was Gerald Ford. When you first started as the Attorney General of the United States, there were 35 people working in that office. There are now 2 people working in that office because you have gutted it.
Good.
How many people work for the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team in the criminal division today?
That's what.
Can I answer the question?
I'm telling you, the pauses don't look good.
Can I answer the question about PIN?
I've asked you a question. How many
You've
people
asked
work?
me a question, but you don't
How
want
many
the answer.
people work
I'm not
for the
gonna answer your
National
questions the way you
Cryptocurrency
want.
Enforcement Team? You won't answer how many
I'll
people?
answer PIN.
You.
PIN will not be
you know what?
weaponized.
You know what?
What's
Madam
funny
Attorney
about
General,
this?
I'll say to the chairman.
What's funny about this?
Chairman, you know what the answer is? And I think I
What's
understand
funny
why the
about
Attorney General
this?
does not want to answer the question. Because you eliminated the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team last year. So I understand why you don't want to tell the American people who works there.
Yeah, I
no one
understand
works
why
there
you don't want to
anymore,
talk about
Madam
Mohammed
Attorney
Solomon
General.
in
So
your district.
In any event,
who
I would
murdered people.
Mr. Chairman, will you stop the clock so his time is not wasted by the witness?
I've been very generous with allowing extra time when we have these little disputes.
Bro, this makes me want a dictatorship, bro. If this is our government does nothing. They just sit here and fight and play political football games all day long. Like we need a king, okay? This is I don't know if this is working out. It was a good experiment, all right? I think we need a fucking dictator. This is so frustrating to watch.
Dan,
You got the time, Mr. Goose?
I might as well ask the chairman these questions.
I'd be happy to answer some of your questions.
What's profound, the questions I've
Profound?
asked,
The crime in your
I've
district.
asked, Mr. Chairman, are not trick questions. They're not gotcha questions. They're actually basic questions about how the Department of Justice functions. and the unwillingness of this Attorney General to answer them in good faith. When a member of Congress asks how many people work at the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team and the Attorney General refuses to answer it, it is not a coincidence. It's because she eliminated the team. Why? Because her boss, the President of the United States, is making money hand over fist, $1.4 billion over the course of the last year through cryptocurrency holdings. I think what is happening at the Department of Justice is a disgrace, Mr.
Isn't Eric Trump like running crypto mining facilities and shit? Like that's their new business, like crypto mining. I don't know, man. Let's investigate it. Let's make sure Trump's up, I am sketched out with a lot of the crypto shit, to be honest. As a non-crypto guy, I get sketched out by it, especially when Trump and Melania released their own coins and shit. That was like the first sign to me. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, you just won the presidency and now you're going to do a crypto coin scam on everybody? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, let's investigate that. I'm down for that.
Chairman, and I would urge you to gain control of this hearing. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah. I would ask the gentleman, does he agree with the standing up of the Deputy Attorney General for dealing with fraud? That's something that's happened in this administration. First time. You talked about Penn. That happened with this Justice Department.
We're talking about this committee.
Mr. Chairman, had you answered the question, had the Attorney General answered the question in that way, perhaps this hearing would have some modicum of resembling something that has typically been fairly conventional, an oversight hearing of the Department of Justice. That is
I'm telling you, man, we need a dictator, dude. We need a kind, gentle dictator. I volunteer. Oh boy, it's such a
yes, please.
Shit show.
Mr. Chair, I have a few unanimous consent requests I would like to submit into the record. This New York Times article titled "Alex Pretty's Friends and Family Denounce Sickening Lies About His Life." I also would like to submit this Daily Mail exclusive interview with Vice President J.D. Vance titled "J.D. Vance Refuses to Apologize to Alex Pretty's Family After Spreading ICE Assassin Claim." One more. My last submission request is a New York Times article titled "FBI Agent Who Tried to Investigate ICE Officer in Shooting Resigns."
Without objection.
Thank you.
The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General Bondi, I think you and pretty much everybody else here and throughout the country believes that convicted sex offenders don't deserve special treatment or privileges in prison. And yet Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, received perk after perk in prison.
That is weird too. That is weird. They moved her to a cushy prison and now she's not talking unless she gets immunity or some shit. Or actually a pardon. I think she wants a pardon. I agree with this dude. This dude knows what he's talking about so far.
In July, she had a 2-day interview with your deputy and President Trump's former defense attorney, Todd Blanche. Just days after that, Maxwell was transferred from a federal correctional institution in Florida to a minimum security camp in Texas, which she, as a sex offender, would normally be ineligible for. At this new facility, as the ranking member talked about, and by the way, it's nicknamed Club Fed. We've heard reports that she's been afforded special privileges, puppy time, private workouts, personal mail, secretarial services.
Puppy time. Everybody loves some puppy time, but I don't know what she's doing with her puppies. I mean, this is just Ghislaine Maxwell, the king of the jerky eaters. Just make sure we get the puppy back with no blood loss. I don't know. I don't know if I trust her around puppies, dude.
Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell...
if we're going to give her a dog, it's got to be a big dog that's capable of killing her if she tries to fuck it or something, you know?
Well, deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
Let me keep going. No, let me keep going.
Perfect. Well, I
did not know she was being transferred.
I asked you yes or no.
She was not transferred.
This format is so fucking annoying. Like, you're there to question somebody, And then the second they start answering your question, you just don't want them to talk. You just shut up. I reclaim my time. Is this the best format we could come up with for crying out loud?
To a lower
Mr. Chairman,
level.
please stop the clock and remind the witness of the rules. One rule she needs to understand
And I'm glad
here.
that we're agreeing. So when we're agreeing, we can move on to some other things.
When
But
we're
I
not
want you to
agreeing,
know that every time she does get these perks, and it's been publicly reported, that the folks she's abused, the survivors who are sitting here, they see themselves as being denied justice. They feel re-traumatized. And I'm glad that we agree on that. But she should not be in that prison. And she needs to be moved back to a maximum security prison.
I agree with this dude.
As soon as possible. But what
Hell
she
yeah,
has
dude.
told another committee here is that she won't cooperate with them unless she gets clemency from Donald Trump. It's just crazy to consider that she can be wielding this kind of influence within the administration. But that begs the question, who ordered her to be transferred to the minimum security prison that she was ineligible for? Who signed off on the special privileges?
I'd like to know that as well. And Kaiju Koshel, sorry if I'm butchering your name, he says it's especially a bad strategy against Bondi because her responses are terrible. You're right. They should just let her fucking answer because it makes her look stupid. She sounds like a fucking spoiled brat. And it is not a good look, dude. Like, the less she talks, the better, because as soon as she opens her mouth, it's like, ugh.
Was it Mr. Blanche? Was it one of your other subordinates? So please, can you tell us who sent her there since you don't agree she should be there?
I said I do not agree she should receive special treatment. She was transferred, I learned after the fact, to the same level facility, and that is a question for the Bureau of Prisons. I was not involved in that at all. The same level facility, I don't know why, but you know, instead of talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who hopefully will die in prison, you should be talking about Irina Zarutska.
Oh, there, yeah, okay. Hey, how about saying, look, we're going to investigate that, and we're going to find out who is responsible, because that is a good question. Who is responsible for approving that? Like, I'd like to know, right? If you don't know, Bounty, it'd be a good time to go, you know what? That's a good question. I'd like to know, and we're going to make that a priority to let you guys know as soon as possible. As soon as I leave here today, we're going to get the answers to that. And then move on to the next question. For fuck's sake, Bondi.
I have a couple of
died
other
on a subway.
Right, and I absolutely...
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So of course we're moving back to you. It is all about you.
Everybody thinks they could be rude and obnoxious like Trump and get away with it. No, I'm sorry. Some people can do it. Trump's one of those guys that can be rude and obnoxious in a funny and charming way. When you do it, Bondi, you just come across as a spoiled little brat that needs a spanking. You need a little spanking on your booty, Pam Bondi.
So...
And I volunteer.
As we've heard, she took the fifth in response to every single question in that committee hearing. And her lawyer dangled the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison, yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about
when
what
it
should
agrees
happen
with you. But you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk about
I talk about
murdered
her all
by
the
a
time,
violent crime
but
offender
I am not
in
here
your
to
jurisdiction.
testify before Congress. You are. That is your job today.
You're
That's what you're getting
obsessed with attack.
I want you to know that your own DOJ employee, he's recently been demoted and had some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I'm not going to speculate, and you couldn't even identify properly. That's why you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You couldn't properly identify her relative.
I absolutely
it's embarrassing.
Have been, and her family, by the way, appreciates all of the condolences, all of the help.
It's not helping every time she deflects like that, because like some of these questions are legitimate. Who the fuck approved Ghislaine Maxwell getting cushy treatment and getting like rewards? Like what? Who approved that? And is it because now she's looking for a pardon because she's pleading the fifth? She wants a pardon in order to spill the beans. And I don't even trust that she will spill the beans, even if she gets a fucking pardon, dude. So that is a concern. Like, is Trump going to do that? Maybe if she agrees to like testify that Trump had nothing to do with anything bad, maybe he throws her a pardon. Like that's a real concern there. Even if Trump's entirely innocent at the end of the day, I can't say that I wouldn't be tempted in Trump's position to pull some shit off like that, because I'm like, I'm sick of all these people saying I'm a fucking pedophile. I'm just going to end this right now. I'm going to give her a pardon and she's going to testify. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to know the answers to this. And I think the answer is probably Trump is responsible for getting her the cushy new prison and all that.
Everything that our law enforcement in North Carolina has been doing to help her family. Her family feels well treated. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentleman from California is recognized.
I'd ask you now.
Oh, that was a lady? I thought that was a dude. Oh, okay. All right. Jasmine Crockett. She's wonderful, guys. I love her. She's so wonderful. Absolutely unloads on Pam Bondi to her face. Then Bondi responds.
Expired. Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you. I seek unanimous consent to introduce into the record the research that Representative Kamlager-Dove and I referenced concerning the threat of right-wing domestic terrorism, which the Department of Justice scrubbed from its website in September.
Without objection, the gentlelady from Texas is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very...
She's asking a lot of questions.
At Freggy83 super chatted $20. Both parties are corrupt. The fact that the DOJ won't release all files shows they're obviously hiding something very dark, and claiming it never existed was the cherry on top. Definitely way darker shit in the files.
Yeah, I don't know if there are though, man. I wonder. Because, I mean, is it possible that they didn't actually put shit in writing and didn't take pictures of themselves doing terrible shit and actually, you know, I mean, I don't know. A smart criminal wouldn't be like writing in the emails, yeah, we ate some children yesterday and I raped a child. And yeah, I mean, a smart criminal would not be putting that in like an email, recording it, documenting it. So I don't know, man. We might be chasing ghosts for a long time here. But I could be wrong, Freggy. I'm just saying, just devil's advocate there. Thank you for the 20, brother. Much love. Thank you for the generous super chat.
Basic questions really quickly of my colleague, Becca Ballant, if she will answer right or wrong, raping children.
Wrong.
Right or wrong, killing random citizens.
Definitely wrong.
Right or wrong, enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States.
Definitely wrong.
Okay, thank you, because I probably never would have got that with our witness. Our witness who somehow is a lawyer but does not understand how it works with witnesses. I'm not really sure what law school she went to and what all kind of cases she tried, but typically when you come into a space and somebody's a witness, then they sit there and they answer questions instead of asking questions. And then we also have this objection that we use as lawyers called non-responsive when a witness fails to actually answer the question. But nevertheless, let me address the survivors, because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughing stock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ, as we see kings and queens falling everywhere around the world. But we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country, because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massie, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going.
That's cute coming from a Democrat. Okay, it's cute.
My Democratic colleagues have been attacked this entire committee hearing. They have been lied on. And frankly, the American people weren't looking for that. They were looking for answers about the corruption that they see coming from this administration. In the written testimony of this witness,
When's her rap album coming out? I'm interested. I want to hear it. I mean, she's obviously she can flow. She's got some flow. I guarantee it. She can flow, dude. Yeah. I mean,
Of this particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps. In fact, your boss, the President of the United States, stated that this—
We talk about Don Lemon. Look, I'm willing to spend lots of money to arrest Don Lemon, but that's just me.
Administration.
And it's just for the fun of it, just the entertainment factor. I don't care if he even did anything wrong. I just want to see Don Lemon get arrested over and over and over again.
Quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin, just like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ because you don't seem to be good at your job. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting these journalists. In fact, we know after Georgia Fort and Don Lemon were arrested, we know that there were homes of journalists that were raided. We know that threatened prosecution against students protesting your actions and forced tech companies to remove apps used to track ISIS activities. And
I agree with that. Leave ICE alone. Let them do their fucking job. And where were your complaints when journalists were getting arrested under Biden? When James O'Keefe was getting fucking guns put in his face? I didn't complain about that at all.
Let's circle back to you protecting pedophiles and creeps. Because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two.
Yeah, I mean, these files run through the period that he was president, and they were talking about everything. Like, if you're the president, everybody's going to be talking about you. Like, come on, dude. Again, give me the evidence. His name is in the files. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence?
Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes.
So he spent according to okay. Where's the crime again?
From FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump.
And there's a lot of accusations against Trump. Again, I don't know. Let me hear this one again. Who's this one coming from?
Trump on two references to Trump, his wife, or one. Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her.
Presented. Okay. So, I mean, you could also put that in a different way. Like, there was a young girl with Ghislaine that met Trump and they talked for 20 minutes and Trump was really nice. I mean, you could kind of the way you present it can make it sound bad or just a nothing burger, right? But again, I mean, okay, did he rape the kid, or I mean, how old was she, this young woman, or is she young because she's 20, or is she young because she's 14? The details matter. Please.
Another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, this is a good one. Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very...
I mean, that sounds great, Emma McHale. Named more than Harry Potter and Harry Potter. That's fucking great. Was Harry Potter 3 million pages? I mean, first of all, like, that sounds fucking great and so damning. Okay, so if that's the case, then you should be able to provide the evidence that's not just hearsay and accusations from public tip lines that point to him actually being guilty. Because I'm still waiting for that.
Close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit.
Yeah, I heard her seat's going to be gone because the redistricting in Texas, that she's basically, she's not going to last very long.
But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation.
Yeah, that one's a little sus to me. I remember reading about that, and it's like, seems like he, I don't know. It feels me. I would have nothing to do with him. As soon as I hear that, even if it was dropped in court, it's like, that's too risky there. I don't want him in my administration. But I guess, I don't know. Again, not always the best decision making.
Or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one.
I agree with that. We should definitely go after Trump for that, 100%. But we should also go after Obama and Bush and all the rest of the presidents who all of a sudden their fucking net worth went up while they were president to ridiculous amounts, way more than it should have gone up. So yeah, let's do it. If we can take Trump down for that, then we can probably take Obama and Bush down and maybe set a precedent for the future presidents to not just, get into office just to enrich themselves, but actually serve the American people. So I agree with that.
One of the worst attorney generals in history, an attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentleman,
yeah.
He yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized. Gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr.
I'm sorry for making y'all listen to that. But I mean, we're going deep today.
Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we talk?
I do. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try, Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions, because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, aren't there pictures of Hakeem Jeffries with Epstein as well?
After Epstein was...
I mean, if you're, how many times is he named in the... If that's the evidence, I'm sure Hakeem Jeffries is named in the files, allegedly. And there's pictures, allegedly, of him with Epstein. So yeah, when are we going to get justice for that? If that's the evidence we're using, I'm sure there's anonymous accusations against him as well. I don't know. I mean, if we're using that level of evidence, then there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be fucked.
Convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted. So what we talking about? Convict some of these perpetrators that rape these women that are sitting behind you, that you refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
Time belongs to the gentleman.
She's getting owned. I'll be honest. Look, I mean, in social media, the clips going around with this, everybody's going to just be like, shit, she got her shit kicked in, bro. Shit, that Bondi got destroyed, dog.
From Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds back to make up for the yelling? Thank you. General, did you have anything further to say?
Texas, convicted of homicide. Cecil Joseph, from Dominican Republic. Texas, convicted for kidnapping, rape. Khalid Khan, from Afghanistan. That's why they want to talk about Epstein and not what's happening in their own states.
God, you can't even play politics well. Like, they're so much better at this game than you, Bondi. You're like a fucking retard, and they're like Leonardo fucking da Vinci, dude. Like, then don't even, if you're this bad at the game, don't even play it. Maybe approach it different and like actually try to come across like you are willing to answer questions and you really care about getting down to it and you're not just fucking deflecting everything. I mean, it's such a bad look. This is, I'm telling you, anybody who says Bondi won or Bondi did good, I don't know what you're looking at, man. I don't know what you're looking at. From a transparency when it comes to Epstein perspective, terrible. From just playing the game of politics and not coming across looking like an idiot, terrible. In every way, she's terrible, and she needs to go. She should have gone a long time ago. Like the amount of mistakes and fucking just terrible shit around the Epstein files, like to the very beginning with the binder gate where, oh, we're releasing the Epstein files, and it was like nothing, and it was just a fucking press conference that got everybody pissed off. Like that should have been like, I mean, maybe 2 weeks after that, she should have been fired. But no, here we are. Over a year into the administration, and this retard is still here.
Thank you, General, and thank you for being here. And this has been quite a spectacle to observe today. I think it's sad. I ran for Congress because I thought we had serious problems in this country we wanted to try to fix together, and this performance today, not yours, General, but some of my colleagues, has not shored up my confidence that we are up to the task.
Well, hers too. Hers too. I agree with this guy saying. I mean, it's a fucking circus. It's like you convene a fucking Congress of retarded children. All hell breaks loose as Jayapal asked Bondi to turn and apologize to Epstein survivors. Oh, okay.
Questions recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Attorney General Bondi, right here. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring. They have shown such incredible courage in speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators and pedophiles to justice. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators. Here behind me is one example of an email from Epstein to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business.
Yeah, okay, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. So this is not a victim. I don't know. What are you just trying to protect somebody because you know it looks bad, but then there's another explanation for it? Like, was the torture video like a video of Jasmine Crockett talking for 5 minutes? Because if you sent me that video, I might reply and go, "Thank you for the wonderful torture video." Because is he being sarcastic? Is he saying it in jest? Do we know the full context? But yeah, I don't know why you would unredact it. Because to me, the right way for this to play out is for it to all be unredacted, and for this dude to come out and be like, "Yeah, that was me. I sent that email. This is what I was talking about. I was not talking about an actual person being tortured, right? And if there was an actual person being tortured and that could be investigated and proved, then he needs to be fucking locked up."
And personal ties to Trump's advisor, Steve Bannon. Second, the survivors were not similarly protected, also in violation of the law. Here is another email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors for their protection, but your Department of Justice initially released this list of 32 survivors' names with only one name redacted, along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs and even the identity.
Holy shit, I haven't even heard about this. Is this real? They really did this? They fucked up, bro. I think they had to rush, by law, they had to get it out and they couldn't extend it anymore. I don't think they would have done that on purpose. I think that is a perfect sign. That's evidence that points to how rushed and sloppy of a job they did trying to figure out who to redact and who not to redact.
Of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their names. Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein. In their words, quote, "This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate..."
I'd like to humbly ask some of these victims, as someone who's very interested in not seeing any more women become victims the way you became, can some of you please just come out and tell your story and name names and stop hiding? We'll make you a celebrity, okay? We'll love you and protect you, okay? Just come tell your story and name names, please. For the love of humanity, can you do this?
Attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades. To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
From my understanding, the reason they don't is because allegedly a lot of them, if not all of them, I don't know exactly, took deals with Epstein and are probably still getting paid by the Epstein estate to keep quiet. That's what I've heard. I've also heard from like Elon Musk, and I've also theorized this myself, that a lot of these victims are also the perpetrators, right? So Epstein brings in a chick, you know, let's say in this case, it's an underage chick. He traffics her to all kinds of rich, elite fucking pedophiles. And then, you know, eventually he brings her in. So she starts recruiting other underage women, right? So now the victim also becomes, you know, a perpetrator. And that's a sticky situation. How do you, you know, how do you decide justice on that one? You know, I think if they're underage, you have to cut them a break. But if they're, you know, 19, 20, and then they're helping to procure underage women for them, and they started off as a victim, but now they're fucking procuring these women for them. I don't think. I think your perpetrator status goes above your victim status at that point. So I don't know. I'm theorizing, obviously.
Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Yeah, that's definitely an apology time, bro. If you put nude photos of them and their addresses, even if it's a mistake, you still gotta apologize. That's fucking terrible.
Congresswoman, you set before...
Did you know, is she gonna bring up another fucking illegal alien in her district that did something wrong?
Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Okay. Yes, we know. We know the Democrats are playing politics and are fucking retarded, but can you answer the question in a good faith way so that people trust you? Can you do that?
Attorney General Bondi,
no, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your...
They got you here, Bondi, okay? Yes, they're playing politics, and they're winning. So it would be a good idea at this point because they got you over a barrel, sweetheart. Sweetie, cutie pie. They got you over a barrel, and it's time to just turn around and apologize to the victims. Because why the fuck not, bro?
Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions. The witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she
question.
ask Merrick Garland this?
By that same thinking, you clearly don't like the question. And dude, this lady here, yeah, she's not much to look at, but she's a political fucking shark, bro. She's eating you up. There's blood in the water right now, Bondi. You're just getting destroyed.
I am reclaiming my time, and when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady has reclaimed her
I'm not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs.
Get in the gutter. How is apologizing to the victims when you release their information? It basically docks them. You know, it had nude photos of them. Is that true? Is this even true? For fuck's sake, that's the first I heard of this. Yeah, I think they're owed an apology, Bondi. What the fuck?
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Look, she looks like she's just squirming
The time
in her
belongs
seat,
to the-
dude. Look at
Time
her.
belongs.
Look at her. She's like a teenage girl that just got caught with drugs and like being a whore and like she's and she's just fucking out of control, bro. She's out of control.
To the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is
I'm not going to get
interrupted.
in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and
theatrics.
let me have my
The
time.
gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can
There's nothing gentle about these ladies, that's for sure.
proceed with your
Okay?
final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only
Regular
to
order.
then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Elaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
apologize.
They're now recognizing.
She's cooking, bro. Look, you know how I feel about Democrats. They're all a bunch of fucking lying pieces of shit. But everything she's saying there, like politically, it's just making Bondi look like a retard and like she has no feelings, no morals. She can't even apologize for doxing and providing nude photos to the world of the victims. And she just wants to fucking die. I don't know, man. I don't know who that lady is. But she's dangerous, bro. She's dangerous. I don't know. Maybe she's normally terrible, but right there, she just destroyed Bondi. Absolute pandemonium. Pam Bondi explodes on Jerry Nadler. Jerry Nadler. Okay. Ugh. Almost threw up in my mouth. And Jamie Raskin. Yeah, that's a double throw up in my mouth.
Thank you.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
I have a UC, Mr. Chairman.
And that is the gentlelady from Texas.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record. El Paso airspace reopened after FAA quickly rescinds 10-day flights restriction. This was published by the...
Yeah, I have that for after this. That shit's crazy. It looks like we're going to go to war with the cartels, for real. With Mexico's approval. Like, Mexico, I don't know, unless it was bullshit, Mexico's like approving like 2 units of Navy SEALs or some shit to go. So Mexico might be like, hey, you know what? We got a chance to take out this fucking cartel. Let's do it. Okay, let's get our country together. And then there was like some drones. I remember that. So what she's talking about is they shut down the airspace over El Paso for 10 days. And everybody's like, well, what the fuck? All of a sudden, nobody can fly in and out of El Paso. Well, they shot a couple cartel drones out of the sky that were in our airspace, from what I understand. And yeah, they've reopened El Paso now to flights. So, shit might be getting interesting, boys. Very interesting.
Texas Tribune on February 11th, 2026, and it says it was because of an impasse with the DOD over the use of unmanned military aircraft and not triggered by Mexican cartel drones.
Without objection.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I didn't hear back about the second round of questions. I assume that's not happening. I just want to be able to assure the members, certainly on my side, if not both sides.
That's not a point of order.
No, that every member will get 5 minutes with the witness. Will there be 5 minutes for each?
Yeah, you get 5 minutes, yeah.
With the witness. Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, okay. And are you up next? Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I want to begin by acknowledging the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific abuse who are in the room with us today. I want to thank all of you for your bravery in speaking out.
I'm just saying, this is alleged. I have no proof of this. I've heard this through the grapevine, but I've heard he likes to eat puppies. Specifically, Bichon Frise puppies. I don't know why that specific breed, but he that's what I heard, allegedly. I can't prove it. I don't know. It's probably a lie, but that's what I heard.
I want to say that you and the other survivors of these heinous crimes deserve better from this Department of Justice. In particular, it is shocking that the department did not redact the names of Epstein's victims, but it did redact the names of their abusers. I don't know whether this was done out of incompetence or whether it was deliberate and malicious, but either way, it is completely unacceptable. Even more troubling, the DOJ has failed to bring any of these perpetrators to justice. Instead, it has engaged in a relentless pursuit of Donald Trump's perceived enemies. I want to focus on just one example. The Attorney General of my home state of New York, Tish James. This DOJ has been hell-bent on securing an indictment against Ms. James for something, anything, simply because she held Donald Trump's companies accountable for years of financial fraud. And indeed, the department manufactured an investigation against her for alleged, quote, mortgage fraud.
This is another one of these guys that it's really hard to listen to. He's just the way he talks. I just tune out, man. So I'm going to do this opportunity to do another ad. Please smash the thumbs up. We're at 65. Let's see if we can get to 100. Links are in the description if you want to support the show. It's much appreciated. Super chats as well. All appreciated. Keeps the show going.
But the U.S.
Thank you guys for
Attorney
the super
leading the
chat so far.
investigation, Eric Siebert, a Trump appointee,
Let's get to the point.
refused to bring charges against Ms. James because there was simply no evidence. Unfortunately, a prosecutor who refuses to do Trump's bidding has no place in this DOJ, so Mr. Siebert was forced out. Trump could not contain his fury that he expressed to you in a social media post addressed to you by name. I'm sure you've seen it. Quote, I fired him, and there is a great case, he wrote to you about Mr. Siebert.
Jesus, I might have to skip this fucking clip.
We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing.
I think it's fucking nap time, Nadler. Okay? It's time for your fucking 11 a.m. nap, bro.
Justice must be served now. And obviously, you followed that order. Lindsay Halligan, Trump's former defense lawyer who had never prosecuted a case in her life, was installed to replace Mr. Siebert, and it was clear that part of her mandate was to go after Ms. James. Halligan immediately sought an indictment, which a court dismissed because Halligan was illegally put into the role. But your department was undeterred, and not once, but twice, it tried to indict Attorney General James in separate courts. Both grand juries rejected you and refused to indict her.
Yeah, we got double speed.
It is practically unheard of for a grand jury to refuse an indictment. In 2016, it happened in just 6 cases out of over 150,000 offenses.
That's so much better.
And you had it happen twice in the same week in 2 different courts. That must have been humiliating. And now there are reports that you are continuing to investigate her. The amount of resources that have gone into targeting Attorney General James, months of investigations, multiple failed indictments, is astounding. Since your own prosecutors told you that there is not enough evidence to support a conviction, it's clear that you were going after her simply because she held President Trump accountable and he wants to punish her.
So this is the chick from Georgia that trumped up a bunch of bullshit against Trump, right? Yeah, she should. I mean, yeah, she should definitely. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna get her on, but she's definitely corrupt as fuck, bro.
And she is just one name on a long list of Trump political enemies that DOJ is reportedly targeting. From Jerome Powell and Lisa Cook at the Federal Reserve, to James Comey, numerous Democratic members of Congress, John Brennan, Jack Smith, Democratic officials in Minnesota, Chris Krebs, Miles Taylors, and more. And those are just the ones we know about. In contrast to these politically motivated investigations, grasping at something they can charge their enemies with, we now have concrete evidence of disgusting criminality revealed in the Epstein files. So I really have just one question.
I think it's just that he's reading what he's saying. He's just reading it so boring. It's just like, I don't even want.
Question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
Here comes the interruption. All right, we'll slow it back down because it's going to be going too fast. This is hopefully when it gets heated. So here's what's going to happen. She's going to start answering and she's going to start deflecting, and then they're going to interrupt her and he's going to reclaim his time, and then they're all going to fight about reclaiming time. That's my guess.
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about
but
they indicted. The president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay.
Dude, I haven't seen this clip, but based on every other clip I've seen, this is like how it plays out every time. She starts answering, she's going to deflect and bring up, how they did nothing during the Democrats being in power. And then they're going to try to reclaim their time, and she's going to yell, and they're going to yell, and then someone else is going to come in and be like, he should get his time back. And it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
The question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
Reclaiming my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So
my-
he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds to
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming-
Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me
Yeah, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer.
Jesus
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I
Not a
said that
few more,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I will.
It's just so embarrassing. This makes me embarrassed to be an American, bro. This is like some shit that's like, it's just embarrassing. I don't know any better word for it than that. I don't know. And then you see shit like this, and it's like, oh, no wonder nothing ever gets done. The American people continue to suffer. Life gets worse. We have no health care. Like, life sucks. And it continues to suck more and more for the American people. And this is what they're busy doing. I bet you if you took all the time from this hearing and you cut out like all the time they argue over like simple shit over whose time it is and how much time they get and blah, blah, blah. I bet you that's like more than half of the entire hearing is just bullshit.
I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler. Go
Reclaiming my time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files, and when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of abusers.
Time of the gentleman
None
has
of the perpetrators
expired.
have been brought to justice, but enormous resources
Time
have been
of the
dedicated to
gentleman has
pursuing Trump's
expired,
enemies.
and
It's
obviously
clear
there
that
was-
under your leadership,
I think what's going on here is there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know. It's like it muddies everything up. You can't get anything done. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, what if we were to like cut this Congress, like just cut it in like a third or something like that, so there's just less people. Then everybody has more time to talk. I don't know, man. It seems so fucking useless and just a waste of time. And this is our government. Like, these are like the most important fucking decision makers in the world, and what they decide is going to affect all of our lives. And this is the way it's ran. It's a fucking laughing stock.
Department of Justice
There was
no longer
no
works
question
for
in
American
there.
people. It works
Order
for
respond
Donald
to.
Trump. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
I think our next questioner, Madam Attorney General, is going to give you time to respond to
Thank you, Chairman.
all kinds of things. So we will turn to the gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
Ms. Bondi, you go right ahead. I'm over here.
Oh no, please don't, Bondi. Just
Time
shut
is
up.
yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr.
Deflect.
Yefa-67 super chatted
What's up,
$20. My only happy place is the Pingdom. as the world crumbles down around us.
Oh man, I'm glad I could help, bro. But it's never as bad as we think it is, bro. You know.
At Freeman 3 super chatted
Thank you for
$5.
the generous one, brother.
Maybe
Thank you for
Bondi's
20.
mother was kidnapped and a ransom note was left directing her to act like this. I hope I'm just joking.
We can only speculate as to what goes on behind the scenes with these people. You know, how much leverage gets put on them, because that could explain some of the bad behavior. Is just people have leverage on them, and they can't make their own decisions. Thank you guys. Thank you for the generous super chats. Much love, guys. And yeah, I know El Jefe. It's hard not to get blackpilled right now. It almost feels like the algorithms are we've just gotten to the point where it's all just fighting. We can't agree on anything. And like even basic fucking things people fight about that they should be able to agree about. And it's like, it starts getting real confusing. And it's like, it's hard to deal with it because everything's so confusing because it's such a fucking, I don't know, man. I feel you, but yeah, we still gotta hold out hope, dude. You know, the black pill will kill you. You know, you gotta admit what sucks, and you know, you can't like bury your head in the sand, but you also have to hold on to some hope somehow, some way.
Adler were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016. Have you apologized to President Trump?
If this was a video game, right, and it was like a courtroom simulator and you had like 4 options, and like option A is deflect, option B is like good faith answer, she just keeps spamming A. Deflect, 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 deflect. Come on, man. Like, I think she thinks like MAGA is going to support her, and there's going to be a lot of people in MAGA that are going to be like, yeah, she won, she's great, blah, 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 blah. But there's a lot of people in MAGA, you know, that voted for Trump, like me, who are like, I'd rather see you approach this in a good faith way. And I think that's the only way to win this game of politics, is to kind of not play it, come across like you care, because you don't come across like you care. You come across like a snobby little fucking bitch. Come across like you care and actually address all of the genuine, like good faith questions, which there are quite a few of them. And, you know, approach it with good faith. And then people will be like, okay, at least she seems like she fucking actually cares and is trying, you know?
You apologize to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump. You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents.
Okay, now she's finally having a good response. Okay, politically, this is a good response because it's true. As much as you want to hate on it, like, we are getting more transparency around Epstein than we would have ever gotten, and it's happening under Trump. Even though he's fucked it up, we are still getting, at the end of the day, this transparency. And thank you know, Massey and all the people that supported that. But again, it's happening under Trump.
Over 3 million, and
even though he's totally fucking it up at the same time.
Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein.
And it's the first time she's actually, I mean, they keep interrupting her. They haven't allowed her to do this, but okay, this is the first time she's not completely sucking. So, okay, Bondi, you still need a spanking, but I'll cut you some slack here.
How ironic is that? You know why?
You still sound annoying too.
Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader.
No, I'm laughing too. It's because the way you paused there, because you weren't sure. You clearly do not follow the market. You're like, the Dow's over. You double check. It says 50,000. The Dow's over 50,000. Because it's such an obvious talking point that you had to read from your little talking point sheet.
As I hear Raskin, the Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000.
You're saying it like you're not confident about it.
The NASDAQ smashing records.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, NASDAQ's doing real well as our elite pedophile fucking network rapes children. But yeah, hey, at least the NASDAQ's doing great, right, guys? I mean, okay, she made a great point. A part of that was a really good point, and she just, she flew off the track. Like, she was racing, she was going fucking 200 miles an hour, hitting the corners, and then she just flew right out the fucking track into the fucking crowd, dude, and killed 30 people who were just watching the race. She fucked it all up right there.
Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be.
I mean, it is a legitimate question. What does the Dow got to do with it? What's Dow got to do, baby?
In order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year. National median rents have fallen to a 4-year low thanks to Donald Trump. That's why they want to focus on Epstein and our most transparent president in the nation's history. The murder rate, as I said, has plummeted to a 125-year low, thanks to Donald Trump.
Yeah, but again, this all looks like you're trying to deflect from you fucking up the Epstein files. So all that is great, but we're talking about the Epstein files, and it would be good if you actually address that and people's actual concerns with the Epstein files. It's not like we have the internet or even AI where you can go, hey, what are the biggest concerns about the Epstein files that people are talking about? And then you could have taken this time to address those things that people actually care about. Instead, you're turning it into a poor campaign message, by the way, because you're not a good campaigner. You sound like a retard. You sound like a teenager, like a fucking annoying teenager.
For an unprecedented 9 straight months, there were 0 illegal border crossings at the southern border.
The southern border. At the southern border.
That's what we should be focused on. At the southern border.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
That's what we should be crossings at the southern border. That's what we should be focused on. All the great work that this president has done and will continue to do to keep America safe and to make Americans safe.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. I agree with you totally. I think you've done a fine job. I think that Democrats, in fact, should be apologizing to the Epstein victims for doing nothing during the 4 years that they were running the government. We did not hear about this, and it took you and President Trump to finally provide transparency and give answers to the American people, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you also for standing up for truth today and for fighting back against the...
She's not going to fuck you, bro. I don't know, maybe she will. I don't know. Is she married?
Theatrics and the time waste that you will endure over the next hour or two. I want to apologize on behalf of my colleagues on the left. They're not all that bad, but they've got to put on a show. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that. And I would like to yield the last, I'd say 40 is 80 seconds.
Bro, you're not getting elected again after this, dude. Whenever you're up for re-election, you're fucked because they're just going to run this clip all day and just be like, oh, this simp wants to run your county? You want this simp running your country? That's just simp behavior, bro. That's terrible. That's terrible.
The clock says 40, but I've got 80 seconds.
Well, you're just so wonderful, Pam Bundy. I love you so much.
Since I was so rudely interrupted, and I'll give all 80
Come here and give me a kiss, Bundy.
seconds to Chairman Jordan.
And I would just yield to the Attorney General if she has anything to add.
I'm fine to continue. Thank you, Chairman.
All right. The chair now recognizes the gentleman yields back.
This is such high school like girl drama, like fucking the cheerleaders are getting into fights. You have no choice. Jamie Raskin lights in the pan Bondi after repeated interruptions.
Recognizes the gentleman from Maryland.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by saying I appreciate what you said, Attorney General Bondi, and you said it to me personally, that you take the personal security of every member of Congress seriously and that people can contact you about that. And in these times, that's a very serious matter. So I thank you for that. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 7 of the Constitution is the Domestic Emoluments Clause. And it says that the president is limited to his salary in office and cannot receive any other money from the federal government while he's in office. It cannot be increased by $1. This president is the first president in U.S. history who has repeatedly sued the federal government for $230 million for the judicial search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, which was perfectly lawful and was never struck down. But now he's suing the IRS for $10 billion. He's suing the IRS for $10 billion, which I think is around...
Good. Put him out of business, please.
80% of its annual budget.
Sometimes I wonder if all the things Trump teases that like a lot of people like, oh, we're going to end income tax, if that's all not just like a negotiating tactic to get the IRS to like leave him alone. It's like, hey, you stop taxing me so fucking crazy. I'll shut you all down. It'd be nice if he was serious, but a lot of times Trump, when he talks that big game that we like, it's all just negotiating tactics most of the time. He never actually goes through with it. Oh yeah, we're gonna get Doge and we're gonna fucking clean up the government, and it's like, yeah, no. That Doge might have just been a negotiating tactic to try to get Democrats to play ball with something.
Because
who knows? Just speculating.
His tax returns were leaked, and they were illegally leaked by a private contractor who actually is in prison now, Charles Littlejohn. But he wants $10 billion now. Well, I want to ask you the question of whether you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for you to settle that $10 billion case or any of the other claims that the president has made against the government. He himself has remarked, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the deal, right? And he says, I kind of have to work it out with myself. Do you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for the president to work out a deal from people who are his subordinates under his unitary executive theory to get money in one of these cases?
I'm not going to discuss pending litigation.
Okay, so theoretically you're saying because his privacy rights were violated in that tax case, and they were. I'm with the president on that. I mean, his Mar-a-Lago thing is ridiculous, but there's no doubt that his tax returns, despite the fact that he promised to release them, despite the fact that every other president released the tax returns, he suffered embarrassment when it showed that he hadn't paid taxes for several years, and he had a right for that not to happen. Now, I want to turn back to the Epstein survivors, because President Trump may have...
Is that what it showed? Because I remember it's showing that like he had like a surplus, like he had paid more than he owed, so he was like well ahead. I don't know, man. I forget what the truth is there.
Embarrassed by the release of those tax returns. How much do you think the claims of these survivors are worth? As the good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out, there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released, and yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
That's a dumb question.
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is?
I mean, they should. She goes, her deflections are so fucking terrible. Yeah, they probably should sue the Fed, the FBI for releasing their names and unredacting, fucking them being nude, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but how's she going to know, like, the amount? Like, that's not for her to decide the amount they're going to be awarded.
So obsessed with you
Okay,
don't, do you?
I'm going to
Like,
teach you the
just made
rules
a
again.
face.
You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
With
And the rules,
obsessed with Donald Trump. You
No.
have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman,
Chase
I'd like my time
Mulligan will be
restored. I'd like my
sentenced
time
next week
restored.
in your district. In your district,
stop
and you
the
don't
clock.
even know about it, about keeping children
Time belongs
safe
to
from
the
online
gentleman.
predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. The gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this. Because this is the Attorney General of the United States whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes. And so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to
Excuse me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So
this is such pathetic shit, bro. Oh, they don't want her to answer the questions because I mean, it's all political, both sides. Like most of their questions are just like political gotchas. Like they're kind of meaningless at the end of the day. Some of them were good. They were good, legitimate questions. But yeah,
Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today.
I think he's trying to get it in.
Okay, so, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule at this point. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Gentlelady can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Hey,
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what?
They gave her like 5 seconds that time.
If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing
Shame
you.
on you.
The time of the gentleman has expired. I would remind the committee that last Congress, Secretary Mayorkas was here numerous times, and he wouldn't answer our questions, even when we sent them to him ahead of time in writing.
Bro, this was a 4-hour shit show, dude. We're already almost 2 hours into the show, and I don't even think we're done with these clips. It was just like nonstop shit show, the whole fucking hearing.
In that area, but I want to thank the Attorney General for her great work.
I mean, they have an opportunity here to really give us good television, because if it's all going to be fucking useless bullshit, just give us good television. Turn this into like a daytime soap opera. Let's get some good editing in there. Let's come up with some better storylines. You know, maybe you know, somebody throws something. You know, let's just go for the entertainment, okay? Because this is all fucking useless.
First year on the job, and I want to thank you for being here. With that, I would yield to the ranking member for an opening statement.
Yeah, we need some reality TV show editing. That's what we need.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman, and welcome Attorney General Bondi. You've got the best lawyer's job in America because your mission is justice and your clients are the American people. But to promote justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of.
I think a lot of them probably got the same like speech from the same dude, and they're just repeating the same talking points. Like we've heard this before. This is the same fucking. Turn around and apologize. Let's see.
Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring.
I don't know how much more I can listen to these dudes ramble on.
Demanding that the truth be told, and are demanding accountability for the abusers who trafficked and raped them. You still haven't met with these survivors. So with their permission, let me introduce to you the survivors and late survivors' family members who are present today. Killing perpetrators is what you do best. When the FBI opened a criminal investigation into the brutal killing in Minneapolis of Renee Good, a poet and 37-year-old mother of 3, by Trump's masked paramilitary ICE agents, you shut it down. You claim you're investigating the cold-blooded murder of Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse at the VA. But how can we trust the administration when the president and Kristi Noem called Preddy a domestic terrorist and Stephen Miller called him a would-be assassin? Not only do you refuse to share evidence with the state and local investigators and prosecutors in Minnesota, you have blocked their access to the crime scene and the evidence. How are you seeking justice for Marimar Martinez, the Montessori school teacher in Chicago who was shot 5 times by a Border Patrol agent who...
Here they go with all the anti-ICE propaganda. We've all seen this a million times. They just run with whatever fucking narrative they want. Dude, I thought we were going to see who the witnesses were. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to listen to 10 minutes of that fucking guy talk. What else we got? Eric Swalwell outright asked Pam Bondi for helping deal with death threats against him. All right.
The gentleman from California.
Great, thank you. Madam Attorney General.
Swalwell's a little bit of a bitch. You know?
You acknowledged
just a little bit
earlier to Mr. Johnson that President Trump was mentioned and the release countless times, you said, in the Epstein files. I just want to play a video, though, for you that I think speaks to the frustration that many of these victims have. Of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could...
Isn't this the guy that was, had a relationship with that Chinese spy, allegedly? Fang Fang? Isn't this the guy? I mean, he looks like the kind of guy that would fall for a Chinese honeypot trap. Yeah. What happened to Fang Fang? Have we heard from Fang Fang? She doing good? Hope she's doing good.
At least be 1,000 times.
Him, right?
Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name that we have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at
we have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can
so-
characterize the numbers however you want it.
I'm claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not.
means
It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number.
I understand why the victims are frustrated, and the Attorney General acknowledged what Mr. Patel would not acknowledge, that it was way more than 1,000 times. But I want to move, Madam Attorney General, to weaponization of government. And yesterday it was reported
Kash Patel was there? How come I didn't see
that
more clips with Kash
6
Patel?
members of Congress had indictments sought against him, and they were not returned by a grand jury. My colleagues have spoken about their frustration of being in subpoenas and having cell phone records combed through. Well, in 2017 and 2018, Adam Schiff and I had our cell phone records and email records combed through, not by you, but a different Department of Justice under the president. It was in retaliation for our role in the Russia interference campaign. An Inspector General report would find this improper and that the predicate for it was absurd. In 2020, after sitting on 2 committees that were a part of the president's first impeachment, an FBI agent leaked my cooperation in a national security case where my campaign was targeted. The president's FBI senior leadership authorized 2 statements to the press that said I was never suspected of wrongdoing.
Okay, I can't hear this guy cry for 5 minutes. Let's see what the next one is. Pam Bondi calls out Chuy Garcia to his face over his controversial election move. Nice. But we got to skip some of it. It's like, okay, dude, cry me a river. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you, Chairman, Attorney General.
We're running out of time.
Glad you finally made it here after hiding for 4 months from this committee. I understand
Whoa,
why
I thought
you're
you were
hiding
hiding
from us.
Chairman?
You're one of the worst attorney generals in our history and an instrument of Donald Trump's lawless authoritarian agenda, and I'm glad the American people are seeing who you are, how you act, and the lack of good values. You weaponize the Department of Justice to target immigrants, working families, and anyone that Trump deems an enemy of the state, all to protect real powerful criminals.
What's this guy, Comunista?
Including in your administration. My Democratic colleagues have focused on your cover-up of the Epstein files and your passion for protecting pedophiles and child traffickers. That alone is grounds for impeachment.
At Spocko2181
What's up, Spocko?
super chatted $4.99. When is that asteroid finally going to end all this?
Do we got a new one coming up, dude? I don't know, man. Look, life does go by fast, so don't worry. Don't worry. Just be patient. Just be patient. But yeah, man, I feel you, dude. You know, it's just one of those days I felt like torturing myself and everybody else.
But there's so much more to your corrupt tenure
Thank you,
as
Slavo.
Attorney General. You directed prosecutors to investigate elected officials in welcoming jurisdictions,
Bingo.
and you got thrown out of court when you sued Chicago, Cook County, and Illinois.
Yeah, pinche
You
cabrón.
directed prosecutors to prioritize low-level immigration cases while gutting enforcement against corporate criminals and public corruption. You revived draconian
You're
law
talking
of
about public corruption to
1798,
me? Whoa.
which should be repealed to illegally send people.
Yeah, who is this guy? Chewy Garcia? Chewy Garcia. Yeah, he seems really Trump deranged. Like, out of all the Trump derangement, there's a lot of Trump derangement on display today. He seems the most. And he seems really upset about ICE. Yeah, they keep trying to make it about ICE. I don't think that's a winning topic for them. Because I think most people at the end of the day are like, yeah, I like having a border. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
At Metal2JS420 super chatted $5, Castro.
Yeah, he's got a lot of, he reminds me of a comunista. Yeah, he's got that Latin America comunista vibe.
To a
Thank you,
torture
Metal J.
prison in El Salvador. You fired over 100 immigration judges, including the assistant chief immigration judge in Chicago, without cause, and installed unqualified military judges whom you instructed to deny asylum in violation of the law. You prosecute the president's enemies.
But now you're not worried about the law when they break into our country, but now you're worried about the law when they're here and we can't get rid of them. Like, and I don't believe you that that's against the law. That's actually by the law. They're not allowed to come in illegally. Okay? And then we can send them back when they do. Very simple.
Like Jim Comey and Tish James, while giving impunity to federal agents who are murdering and brutalizing and terrorizing constituents, including in Chicagoland, in my neighborhood. I saw it last year firsthand. You and Kash Patel covered up the murder of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in my district by ICE agents. You tried to investigate Renee Good instead of the ICE agent who murdered her, and you tried to
This is one of the radicals from Chicago, bro.
cover up the murder of Alex Peretti by CBP agents. You bring fake charges against protesters.
I mean, it's not even about Epstein at the end of the day. They're trying to make it about ICE. Howard Lutnick testifies before the Senate. Let's see. I haven't seen this one yet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Lutnick, as I said in my opening statement, you led people to believe that you had cut off all contact with Jeffrey Epstein after the 2005 encounter you and your wife had in his apartment. But as I'm sure you know, the Epstein files show a very different record of interaction. Why do the Epstein files show you coordinating a meeting and planning a visit with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island in December 2012?
Thank you for the question. I'm glad to be here to make it clear that I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York, right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years, I met him 2 other times that I can recall, 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him, and then a year and a half after that, I met him, and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen
Isn't Lutnick the one that was his neighbor?
all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents. There may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not.
At Bing Bong Thagong super chatted $10, LMAO no. Only Repubs are trying to make this about ICE because the Epstein shit is indefensible, despite how much y'all defend the pedo cover-up.
Have you been watching? It's not the Republicans making it about ICE. It's the Democrats making it about ICE. So, yeah. Thank you for the 10, brother. I haven't seen one Republican making it about ICE. So your point might be, pretty on the money. Except for that right there. Only Repubs are trying to make this about ICE because the Epstein shit is indefensible. Yeah, it is. And it's also on the Democrats too, right? You realize that, right? Despite how much y'all defend the pedo cover-up. Okay. Well, we know what side you're on, brother. Thank you for the 10.
Have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person. Okay?
Secretary Lutnick, I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again.
So from what I'm reading here, he claimed like he just had one meeting, but then the files are coming out now. However, recent release Epstein files and Lutnick's own congressional testimony contradicted that claim. Records show ongoing contact over more than a decade, including emails and correspondence. Roughly 10 emails mentioned by Lutnick, a 2011 hour-long meeting, a 2012 lunch on Epstein's private Caribbean island. So he went to the island. Why would you ever... And then Trump put this guy in his Commerce Secretary or whatever the fuck? Why would you do that, dude? That's so fucking stupid. That's... I mean, hiring Bondi was stupid, and then this guy... I don't know, man. That's fucking dumb. But yeah, it turns out he lied, so that's not a good look. Because now it comes out that everything you claimed was only one meeting here or there, and then there's all this correspondence in the fucking Epstein files. That doesn't look good.
Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple with...
What year was this? 2012? 2012 lunch on Epstein's private Caribbean island. So yeah, this was after you should have known better. You should have definitely known better by 2012, bro. Yeah, why did you put this guy in your administration? Are you retarded?
They were
What's going on
there
here?
as well with their
I think Trump
children,
is retarded at this point.
And we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it, but
Mr. Secretary, again, as I said, there's not an indication that you yourself engaged in any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein. It's the fact that you believe that you misled the country and the Congress based on your earlier statements, suggesting that you cut off all contact when in fact you had not. When you visited the private island, did you see anything inappropriate during that visit?
the only thing I saw with my wife and my children and the other couple and their children was staff who worked for Mr. Epstein on that island.
And you realize that, you know, this visit took place after he'd been convicted, right? I mean, you made a very big point of saying that you
That's the point I was
sensed that
making.
this was a bad person in 2005. And then, of course, in 2008, he was convicted.
And then 2012, you're on his island having lunch with them, allegedly having lunch. Were you eating any jerky? Did you get any of that jerky, Lutnick? Yeah. I heard it's really good, that jerky.
Of soliciting prostitution of a minor. And yet you went and had this trip and other interactions. Did you have a dinner in Epstein's New York City home in 2011?
No.
So the information that suggests that there was a dinner with Woody Allen and Woody Allen's spouse at the Epstein residence, that's there's nothing to that, is that right?
I actually don't know what you're referring to. There was, look, I looked through the millions of documents for my name, just like everybody else.
Let me see what they're talking about here. Yeah, so in 2011, there was an hour-long meeting at Epstein's home. And there's roughly 10 emails mentioned by Lugnick. There's a bunch of email correspondence. Essentially, according to Grok, Lugnick has repeatedly downplayed the relationship in statements and testimony, insisting he barely had anything to do with Epstein, had no personal relationship, and that interactions were very limited, often in family or professional contexts. And he has not been accused of any wrongdoing related to Epstein's crimes. Yeah, I mean, just because we can't prove you did something, you still shouldn't be serving in the administration. I think that should be a pretty common sense policy to be like, yeah, anybody that stepped foot on Epstein Island, let's not have them anywhere near government. I think we could all agree with that, right?
And what I found was there was a document that says that I had a meeting with him in May, I think, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Not dinner or otherwise, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
All right. There's also a reference to the fact that Epstein had expressed an interest in meeting your nanny. Do you know whether Jeffrey Epstein ever met with your nanny?
No, I saw that. I had no idea what that was about. It had nothing to do with me,
No
as far as I
interaction
know.
at all with him on that?
No, as far as I know, no.
Would you, Mr. Secretary, be willing to ensure that the file is complete to share with this committee and the Congress your own records, any records you have that relate to Jeffrey Epstein?
I will surely talk about that. I hadn't thought about that. I have nothing to hide. Absolutely nothing.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I don't know if I believe you. So I was wondering what he's talking about with the nanny. Details that emerged from the recently released Epstein files. Testimony during a February 2026 Senate, blah, 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 blah. During the 2012 lunch with Epstein's private
But
island.
Bing Bonfagon super chatted $5. Does that include POTUS? Ping.
Does what include POTUS, bro? Does what include POTUS? Is Trump covering this up? Yes, Trump's covering it up. If that's what you're saying. Is Trump lying about Epstein files shit? I don't know. I mean, it's like you want me to revisit shit I've already talked about. But yeah, Trump has completely fucked up the Epstein files. It's been terrible. He looks like he's guilty of some shit the way he's behaving. Can we prove it? No. Oh, should he not be in office? But you see, Trump was never on the island. See, this is the difference. Like, Trump was friends with them before the conviction, right? And before the conviction, Trump was speaking to the lawyer of the victims and helping him and like trying to take Epstein down. So do you just ignore that part of it as well? It's complicated with Trump. It is, man. Like, he was friends with them, you know. It looks bad, but there are people that associated with Epstein who didn't do anything wrong. Like, if you think every single person that ever had any association with Epstein must have been eating children or whatever, that's a bit of a leap. But I'm open, like, show me the evidence. Show me the evidence of Trump. You know? Show me it. And by the way, Trump won the presidency. He wasn't appointed by a president, right? So there's a little bit of a difference. If you get enough people to vote for you, you become president. Nobody really controls that. The voters do. So, yeah. I don't know. I would rather get the Trump that I thought I was going to get, who would totally just fucking do everything right with the Epstein files, like completely give us transparency, not call it a hoax, not play these weird little games behind the scenes, attack his own followers. Like, it just looks fucking terrible. And it leads people to conclude that he, must have done something. But I'd like to see the evidence and not just jump to conclusions. I mean, I'm doing the same thing for this guy. It's very likely Lifkin, whatever the fuck is Lutkin, Lutnick could have just, he could be telling the truth. He just had communications with him. There's a lot of people that communicated with Epstein that didn't do anything wrong. There's people probably also that went to the island that didn't do anything wrong. But yeah. I don't know, man. Elections have consequences. People voted for Trump. This is where we're at. And when it comes down to it, still a lot of people that are happy with Trump because they got a little bit Not a lot. They got some border shut down. They got some fucking, deportations. Price of gas is down, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to have to prove, to these people beyond a shadow of a doubt that Trump did something. You can't just go off hearsay and like guilt by association. It's got to be, you got to provide some evidence. And like, once you guys do that, then, you'll have your victory. But you guys want to have your fucking cake, I don't know the right saying here. You want to have your cake and eat it too. That's not the right saying. You guys want to just act like you already know he's guilty when there's no evidence out there. So you're not going to convince all the Trump supporters that he's guilty until you have actual hardcore evidence. And we're already at the point where he's a lame duck. So it's not going to be hard to get Trump supporters to jump off the ship. So many are already jumping off the ship. So yeah, just provide the evidence. That's beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's more than just hearsay.
Again, I do think this goes
Thank you for the super
to the
chat.
heart of the question of credibility based on the Secretary's earlier statements. I hope to pursue some of the other issues in front of the hearing as we go on. Thank you.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you,
Mr. Chairman. Senator Kennedy's a good boy. Is this over yet? Yeah, I think this is the last one. She didn't answer anything. Massey sounds off on Bondi. Here's Massey talking about the hearing today.
The fact that they redacted, the fact that Les Wexner was listed as a co-conspirator on the FBI's document. She repeated the straw man that her deputy put out on the internet that, he's mentioned hundreds of times. And I knew she would do that. That's why I led with that. I said, your deputy already said this. But she didn't have the wherewithal to get off her talking points and respond to what I actually said.
Well, Congressman, you've said that you have seen some of the unredacted documents, and you've seen names.
At Bing Bonfadon super chatted $10. Sorry chat last time, I'll interrupt for a min, but what would it take for you to have enough evidence? Do you think it's problematic that the hardcore evidence is being intentionally withheld?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that's problematic, dude. There's a lot of shit. So yeah, I would need evidence, dude. I don't know, man. What would it take for you? I mean, if your level of evidence is enough for you to say he's 100% guilty of being a pedo, then that you got to apply that across the board to everybody that even comes close to that level. Because there's going to be a lot of people that you can just say are pedos and then, lock them up. And I mean, obviously the case wouldn't fucking, you need enough evidence for it to actually stick in court, really, at the end of the day, because we're all innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, I thought that was how this country worked. But you would need enough evidence to stick in court. Or at least enough evidence where even maybe if it didn't stick in court, like the evidence was just solid enough that people were like willing to, like with OJ, OJ was innocent, in court, but everybody knows OJ fucking murdered Nicole Brown Simpson. Yeah, I mean, you would need evidence like any other fucking case, man. You can't just go off hearsay and fucking, a bunch of anonymous tips on a fucking tip line.
People know who's in them.
Because the victory is forcing them to release their own documents that show they listed them as co-conspirators. I could go read the names, but I don't have the evidence with me. They hold the evidence attached to the names. And so you saw what I did Monday. I forced them to release to unredact 2 documents and also admit that the Sultan was the one who sent the torture video. That's the way you do it. We passed a law. We did all this effort. The going and reading the names is like, in case of emergency, break glass option.
So like that, right? Like the Sultan talking, like the torture fucking, thank you for the torture video or whatever the response was. Like, what law did they, like, you'd have to prove, okay, yes, they sent him a torture video. Somebody was being murdered. And then you'd have to prove that somebody was being murdered. I mean, you still have to go by the law, right? Like you still have to prove it in a legal way. If you don't, then I guess you're just kind of theorizing. But yeah, what would they? I mean, are they even investigating this? I wonder. Like, is there any more investigation that can be done to figure out what the fuck they were talking about? Are they interviewing this dude who wrote that email that's still alive? I would imagine. I don't know. Seems like there's a lot more fucking investigating to be done.
And I don't even have.
which is crazy because they were like not going to investigate. They were shutting it all down, remember? So pretty fucked.
The names. I'm still getting them from the DOJ. Sir, do you think that
Jet4804 super chatted
What's up, Jet?
$4.99. What evidence exists when I can copy everything?
What evidence exists when AI can well, if you're talking about video evidence, yeah, I mean, that's going to get a little weird. The hope would be that we have, a forensic ability to determine whether a video, an imagery is created by an artificial intelligence or if it's actually a real image captured by a camera. That's going to muddy up the water because video evidence was always like pretty solid. You get it on video. It's, hard to question that. But yeah, I mean, we have to have some kind of technology that can determine how something was created. And I imagine people will figure it out. But it might be an arms race. I don't know. It might be one of those things where like they figure out how to tell it's AI, but then it gets better. And then now they can't tell for a little bit. And it's always like kind of back and forth as to whether it can do its job. I don't know, man. This is a crazy world to think about. But yeah, AI is getting insane. Like, if you haven't seen some of the, they're using like Hollywood, like there's a fight scene with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. And like, it looks so good. It's like, it's losing all of the bullshit AI, the shitty AI stuff. It's like starting to look real. And then now there's like these Breaking Bad clips and these like Seinfeld clips, like where they just, they just make up some Seinfeld shit and it's done, with Jerry and George. And dude, it's going to be insane, man. Like this is definitely going to be how they make movies. Like in China, they're already doing that. Like these chicks who like sit there and just advertise products all day long on TikTok or whatever. They're just using AI of them now. Like they just sit there and then the AI, like they'll have the AI read it and then the AI will like animate them, right? So they just need an image of them on a green screen, right? And then AI just takes that image and can just now draw that, animate you, right? Essentially, and to do anything and say anything, lip sync perfectly. It's going to open up a whole new world, man.
Lied under oath in his testimony. We played the video for Attorney General Bondi and she responded to it. But what do you make of that whole situation?
I provided the evidence today that shows that his statements were false under oath. Kash Patel's statements were false. They are in possession. They were in possession at the time. They're still in possession of evidence that other men participated in the sex trafficking.
Attorney General Bondi didn't seem to directly answer that question. What do you make of what she did say?
She didn't answer anything. She came here just ready to talk about the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ. It seems kind of crazy to me.
What recourse does...
I think that's part of the culture of this administration. When they don't have a good argument, they just go to name calling. That's what our boss does to me, so I just let that roll off.
And what recourse does Congress have? I mean, this is a law. They're not abiding by it. So what?
That's another thing. Trump, like, God, I mean, the amount of people Trump's like fucking just turned his back on. Massey, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. It is kind of sad, man. It's kind of sad because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's such a disaster, to be honest. It really is. We had so much hope for the second Trump term. And is it better than Kamala Harris? Yeah, it's still probably better than Kamala Harris. Yeah, we got things we wouldn't have gotten under Kamala Harris. Yeah, yes. But it's still very disappointing. Very, very sad.
What recourse do you have now? What's next?
Well, I think we're making progress. We got them to admit they over-redacted 2 documents this week and that they have co-conspirators.
What's up, Freeman?
At Freeman3 super chatted $5. How about we ask the living person depicted in the AI media if that's them?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we could just ask them directly. Be like, are you real or AI? I don't know. You might be able to like hack if you figure out the right creative prompts, like hack it to say it, to admit what it is. Yeah. Let me ask Grok if it's AI. That's what people do now. People go, Grok, is this AI? Like, dude, Grok can't fucking tell you. He's just going to give you a bad answer. That's so funny. People always ask Grok, especially about shit that's like breaking. in the moment and they ask Grok, it's like, Grok don't fucking know. Stop asking Grok. Grok will figure, maybe in a week, Grok will know what the fuck happened. It's pretty bad at real-time shit.
There's names that they haven't released. The recourse, and I keep reminding the folks at DOJ this, is that the next Attorney General can bring charges against them for breaking the law. I think that's what's compelled them to produce 3 million documents. And now they're claiming that it's incompetence. Like their defense today is incompetence for why they haven't given us all the documents they should, why they have over-redacted in the case of co-conspirators, and why they failed to redact the names of the victims.
Can I just ask what it's like to have the victims in?
And we're back with this question, like, why is Trump covering it up? Right? The assumption for people that want Trump to be guilty is just, oh, because he's a pedophile. He's covering up for pedophiles. He's a pedophile. Or is this shit really go so fucking deep to where Epstein was dealing with American intelligence, you know, Israeli intelligence, British intelligence, and this could like completely undermine the credibility of the government? You know, there's something that could be said there. And as a president, your job is to protect the government. And is it the right decision? No, I think you need to cut out this cancerous bullshit and just, take the fucking hit and just, fix the problem. But, every administration before Trump has made the same decision Trump's making now. And then the other thing is, maybe Trump's like really Machiavellian and he's weaponizing the dirt, the real dirty shit. He wants to weaponize it. And if you release it, then you can't use it. You can't weaponize it. And then, but also he could have actually, done some disgusting shit that he wants to hide.
Inside of that room while you're doing all this?
These are all possibilities. If you're being honest, you'll acknowledge all the different possibilities and not just jump to the one you want it to be.
I think it's helpful. I mean, they're the reason this bill got passed. People saying, when will you be satisfied? I'll be satisfied when those victims are satisfied, the survivors who were here today. And until then, I'm going to, work my butt off trying to get the DOJ to comply with this law.
Can you give us any more context about why you believe that the 6 men that you guys have found in these unredacted files, why you believe that they're likely incriminated by what you found in the files? Like, is there other addendums, other pages that you're able to connect to the ones that you've been able to lift the redactions that brought you to those conclusions, or where are you coming at?
That would be a question for the DOJ. Why did they have a list of 18 people with Maxwell and Epstein on it, and 2 victims, and then a bunch of people that so far seem random to me? And then why were they compelled to redact those men's names? But if we go to actual FBI documents that have titles on them, like the FBI document, the 3-page document that has Leslie Wexner listed as a co-conspirator, at the top of that document, it says child sex trafficking. Like, if you're the DOJ, and wouldn't that be the first place you go when you inherit documents from a prior administration? By the way, that's a 2019 document when Bill Barr, I believe, was Attorney General. At least Trump was president. So and then she appealed to, why didn't you ask Merrick Garland? I'm wondering why under...
that was a dumb response. The response should have been like, maybe they don't have enough there. They don't have enough evidence to actually feel like they could win, get a guilty verdict in trial. But then again, you probably could. The government could find the right fucking jury pool of people who just go, oh, he's associated with Epstein, guilty. I don't know, man. But that would have been nice if she would have answered some of these questions in good faith instead of playing fucking dumb politics.
George Bush, why under Barack Obama, why under Trump's first term, why under Biden. This is a cover-up that spans multiple administrations.
But what do you make of her argument that you took this down after 40 years
Nicole,
with respect to less work here, and in terms of the law, that it seems like it didn't give the DOJ enough time to redact these documents.
Yeah, the time argument
in
was
a proper way.
The time argument can be made once, and it was made on December 19th when they first broke the law. And they said, we're going to take our sweet time, we're going to protect the victims, and we're going to do this right. And then they just failed miserably. After they took as much time as they said they needed, they basically said, we're not going to pay attention to the deadline anymore. We're going to take all the time we need. And they still failed. And they're still withholding documents. I mean, the fact that they produced 2 of them this week,
and without redactions after I found them.
Yeah, it looks like this fight's never gonna stop, bro. It's never gonna stop. There's always gonna be more that's needed. It's like, okay, release another 3 million, and then it'll be like, oh, but that's not all of them. Okay, here's another 10 million. Oh, still not all of them. What are you hiding? I mean, we could do this forever. I didn't see this earlier. Yeah. I mean, we're already in two and a half hours in, dude. So yeah, this has worn me out. This has worn me out mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. I don't know how I can't. It's so tough, dude. It's so tough to watch the circus that is our government and not just be like, ugh, I'm completely tard pilled now. It makes me feel retarded. Give Ping a hype, please. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever gotten a hype, Metal J. I don't even know if you can hype what I do. If you can hype my shows. I don't know if you can. But if you can, yeah, whatever that is, do it. And smash the thumbs up. Thank you, everybody, for the very fun show today. It was definitely not torturous. Thank you for watching my torture video. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, there's so much more to get to catch up on tomorrow. And we'll try to have more fun tomorrow. I mean, this was fun, though. I tried to make it fun. I tried my best. You can't always hit it out of the park, Sometimes you're just trying to make contact and get on base. Trying to do a solid for the team. Anyway, much love, everybody. Thank you so much for the super chats today and all the support. We'll see you here again tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. And take care. Much love.
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.